Local solutions. One challenge. Two regions. Many solutions. Welcome to the first episode of Local Solutions, a podcast produced by the European Committee of the Regions. A journey across Europe in 6 thematic episodes that zoom in on the strength and resourcefulness of the European regions. In each episode, we will hear about 2 local projects that tackle a common issue. And we will ask a member of the Committee of the Regions to bring in the broader European perspective on the matter. International mobility, hydrogen technologies, heating innovation, integration, inclusion, and rural depopulation. Get ready to learn more about these subjects and be inspired by how different European regions are working today to prepare the Europe of tomorrow. One challenge, 2 regions, many solutions. In this episode, we will talk about hydrogen technologies and their role in the green transition. The development of hydrogen technologies is one of the paths Europe is exploring in its journey towards sustainability and green energy. The EU aims at becoming a leader in the hydrogen market of the future, and 2 European regions aim at becoming leaders in their own countries and on a European level. The Northern Netherlands and the French region of Occitania are really stepping on the gas. Actually, stepping on the green gas. The 3 provinces of the Northern Netherlands, Drenthe, Groningen, and Friesland, are working closely together to boost the development and deployment of hydrogen technologies. Henning Twickler, Energy Advisor Europe for the province of Drenthe, talked to us about the Heaven project and the development of a hydrogen valley.
Heaven stands for Hydrogen Energy Applications for Valley Environments in the Northern Netherlands. It's Europe's first hydrogen valley and has received a grant of 20 million euros from the EU Fuel Cells and Hydrogen Joint Undertaking, which is now called the EU Clean Hydrogen Partnership. And the total project volume is 100 million euros. The project's goal is to build a fully integrated hydrogen value chain in the region. Hence, the definition of a hydrogen valley. It's a reference to Silicon Valley, of course, in California, and it underlines the EU's ambition to become market leader in hydrogen technology. A hydrogen valley is a confined geographical area in which multiple applications of hydrogen technologies are being developed and tested. The focus is really on the whole value chain, so from production of green hydrogen through electrolysis, industrial use as a feedstock or energy input, mobility, and that includes heavy-duty vehicles, buses, but also cars, to residential use, heating in new buildings, but also the refurbishment of existing buildings. And in my province, in Drenthe, there is currently a project on building a hydrogen district, so heating in houses with the use of hydrogen boilers. This project is pretty unique in a sense because most other projects focus rather on industry or heavy transport. We believe in hydrogen because it can help solve some of the most pressing challenges in the energy transition, decarbonizing hard-to-abate sectors, high-temperature heat, heavy-duty mobility, energy storage. We believe that electrification and the use of green hydrogen are complementary rather than competitive. Energy and hydrogen are major topics in the Northern Netherlands, and we've always been an energy region. We have energy-intensive clusters in Delfzijl, Eemshaven, and Emmen, with 2 seaports, petrochemical and bio-based industries, plastic fibers, recycling, data centers, you name it. So really a lot of potential off-takers there. And besides having these off-takers, other critical components come together in our region. The proximity to the North Sea, and therefore enormous offshore wind potential, salt caverns that can be used for storage purposes, and an existing network of gas pipelines due to our history as a gas extracting region, and those can be repurposed for the transport of hydrogen. Also, we are very engaged on the European level. The Northern Netherlands is one of the co-leaders of the EU Hydrogen Valleys Partnership, member of Hydrogen Europe, of its regional pillar, and we are increasingly cooperating with partners across the border in Germany to work towards the construction of a cross-border hydrogen valley. And this collaboration should be extended to include Denmark and Estonia to build a Hansa hydrogen hub linking different hydrogen valleys. Of course, there are also still some obstacles on the way. Hydrogen production is still expensive. We have the chicken and egg problem with industrial off-takers. The off-takers are waiting for the price to decrease. Investors are waiting for the off-takers to get involved. That's also the reason why the province is acting as a launching customer with hydrogen cars and buses to serve public transport. We also see that EU regulation is not in place yet, or in certain cases too strict. We're waiting for the adoption of the Renewable Energy Directive, for example, and the decarbonization package, which should introduce new market rules for hydrogen. It's companies that have to move and take risks, but it's also our national governments and the EU's role and responsibility to facilitate the market. And of course, also we as regional governments have a role to play in that. This means that we cannot over-regulate in the early phases, and we need financial incentives, not only for the biggest companies and projects, but also for smaller ones. For us, it's all about collaboration, everyone playing their part and taking on responsibility. And hopefully, we'll see that hydrogen will become a European success story.
In 2016, Occitania set itself the target of becoming a positive energy region by 2050. To reach the goal of producing as much energy as it consumes, the French region is investing heavily and confidently in hydrogen technologies, from production and storage to distribution and usage. Raphaëlle Vienot, who is in charge of Occitania's hydrogen plan, says that the region is working towards the development of a hydrogen ecosystem.
The hydrogen plan has been adopted by the elected representatives in June 2019, and its objective is to foster the creation of a hydrogen ecosystem. What does ecosystem mean? It means acting on multiple levels. First, supporting the production, the distribution, and the usage of hydrogen, and taking care of the issues related to its storage and transportation as well. But also supporting research, development, and training, with the aim of positioning ourselves as leaders on a European level. The region has decided to invest in hydrogen for two main reasons. First and foremost, in 2016, the president of the region, Carol Delgas, has decided that Occitania should become a positive energy region, which means that we shall cover all the region's energy needs with renewable energies by 2050. We know that hydrogen can play a major role in this, in what concerns energy storage, network flexibility, and also the development of decarbonized transportation. The second reason is that Occitania already has an ecosystem of researchers that have been working for a long time on hydrogen technologies. We have internationally renowned laboratories on which we count to be competitive in the race towards the development of green hydrogen. The region is investing massively in this plan. 150 million euros have been allocated for the period 2020-2030. The region acts as the main investor, but it also supports local stakeholders to foster the creation of local ecosystems. As the main investor, the region has ordered 3 hybrid trains that will run on hydrogen. They will be used by Alstom, and they will run between Montreux and Luton. The region has also invested in the retrofitting of 15 coaches, and the first retrofitted coach, which means equipped with a hydrogen battery, will start circulating in January 2023. On another front, the region is also in control of the ports, and it has decided to replace the dredge that dredges the regional ports with a hybrid hydrogen dredge, which is currently being built. Last but not least, the region has invested massively on a technology campus entirely dedicated to hydrogen studies, which will bring together research and industry to work on a hydrogen airplane that should appear in 2035. The main challenge hydrogen faces today is the economy of scale. We need to massify the usage to lower the prices and make hydrogen competitive compared to fossil energies.
Donc ça, c'est le premier enjeu. Pour qu'il soit compétitif par rapport aux énergies fossiles, il faut développer
mass production has to be developed, but we must not forget mass usage and diversified usage.
Et donc diversifier aussi les usages. C'est pas seulement l'industrie.
Not only industrial applications, but also transportation, decarbonation of heavy transportation, and residential applications. The challenges are indeed prices and usage massification. For this reason, Occitania is investing massively on usage today. At first, we invested more on production and distribution, but now, within the Part 3 of the hydrogen plan, we have launched a call for projects named Hydrogen Usages, aimed at reversing the pattern. The main line of action now is to support the usages, which will explode the distribution networks and production facilities that are already in place.
Jakub Piotr Chełstowski is Marshal of the Silesia region in Poland, and he is a member of the European Committee of the Regions since 2019. He is also a rapporteur on energy package on gas, hydrogen, and methane emissions. We asked him to comment on the advancement of hydrogen technologies in Europe. Mr. Chełstowski, both the regional projects presented in this episode are lighthouse projects. They are supposed to show the way to others. What role does the Committee of the Regions have in making other regions take the example and follow Drenthe and Occitania down their virtuous path?
I have a visit in Drenthe 5 months ago, and I see what happened in this province. It's, in my opinion, it's very good cooperation for the hydrogen. Now I speak in the Polish, okay?
As for the European Committee of the Regions, it plays a key role in EU legislative processes, and I am pleased that I can prepare an opinion on behalf of the institution together with my expert, Professor Czurek. In the opinion, we evaluate proposals for EU regulations which will stimulate modern investments in hydrogen. Without a stable and secure legislative environment, it will be difficult to realize new investments and influence the economy.
What are, in your opinion, the major challenges that the green transition is facing on a regional level? And how can Europe overcome them?
Obviously, the situation in Ukraine has changed the circumstances a lot and caused an energy crisis. But I am happy that the Committee of the Regions is searching for solutions to problems we are facing. The opinion on the legislative package that we are working on will be a result of a good compromise between the interests of many stakeholders and European regions. We should work together towards decarbonization at the local and regional levels. This is because energy policy, and especially renewable energy, have important local and regional components. I think it is clear for everyone that some regions get more sun, others more wind, and in others there is greater availability of substrate for biogas or other decarbonized gases. These regional specificities then have an impact on entire countries. I always underline the need for stable and transparent regulations at the country level, which affect investments in clean energy. For that reason, we have to work on strategies to be developed at a high level. However, as I mentioned, the challenges and characteristics of all regions are very different. Each region might have a different strategy and a different approach based on its own assessment of its strengths and weaknesses in the context of decarbonization And based on this, the regions should be able to create their own investment strategies. Regions must have the prerogatives to act. At the same time, societies in different regions have different approaches to the challenges their communities face. Some societies are more open to cooperation, others less. The war in Ukraine has caused a lot of problems regarding the gas supply and disrupted the supply chains. In my view, decarbonized gases can play an important complementary role in the decarbonization of Europe. Definitely, the conditions we have been facing over the last 6 months, including the war, should make us speed up our efforts. We need to survive the next couple of months, but this time must be used well to make a transition to other environmentally friendly energy sources.
So what role can hydrogen have in the green transition, and what do you think is necessary to promote it?
Ja myślę, że dobra sytuacja wydarzyła się wczoraj, kiedy pani przewodnicząca Ursula von der Leyen.
The announcement made by European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen regarding setting up the European Hydrogen Bank seems to be a very tangible step towards promoting investments in hydrogen. We will see an investment of 3 billion euros to start building the future market for hydrogen. Some may consider it to be a lot, and others not enough. But it is a concrete step, a tool to speed up the clean energy revolution, which, in my humble opinion, is inevitable anyway. Hydrogen is a promising zero-carbon energy carrier. Its great benefit is its high calorific value in comparison to other fuels. But what is needed to make effective use of hydrogen is infrastructure. This infrastructure needs to be created by local and regional governments, while central governments need to be setting targets, directions, and strategies in this regard, so that each region commits itself to the transition. With hydrogen, some challenges can occur with production, storage, and transportation. All these issues need to be treated in a holistic manner. Based on our experience with electromobility in my country, we know that infrastructure can be a stumbling block and a very crucial factor. Electric cars are getting more and more popular in Poland, but I still think that the pace is slow. If the infrastructure were more developed, the uptake of electric cars could be greater. Of course, the EU has set clear goals in this area to be achieved by 2035. These goals will require implementation at local and regional levels, including investments in infrastructure, such as hydrogen fueling stations and terminals, which would help to secure a stable supply. Another very important issue is to continue to develop locally produced renewable energy. Poland manufactures a lot of hydrogen. This is not clean blue hydrogen, but it can still be used to decrease dependency on some fossil fuels. It might not be entirely clean because it is made from coking coal, which is used mainly in the automotive sector. But I believe that if some technical conditions are met, this hydrogen could be pumped into the grid to cities to provide them with cheap energy. We have to remember that we produce this type of hydrogen anyway, and as I said, its effective use could decrease reliance on other fossil fuels. This would have a positive environmental impact. So, I definitely believe that we should consider the use of all kinds of hydrogen. The announcements made by Commission President Ursula von der Leyen on hydrogen send a strong positive signal. Hydrogen is a huge geopolitical opportunity for us if we make it work. The situations similar to the war in Ukraine will not have the same impact. I always encourage everyone to speed up the energy transition. The more we do now, the easier it will be for our economies in the future, and the cleaner the environment in which we live will be. And that should be our objective.
Thank you, Mr. Chełstowski, for sharing with us your point of view and your insight into the EU's plans to support hydrogen technologies. And many thanks also to Henning Twickler and to Raphaëlle Vienot for giving us a virtual tour of the Drenthe's Hydrogen Valley and Occitania's hydrogen ecosystem, respectively. You have been listening to Local Solutions, a podcast produced by the European Committee of the Regions, in which we look at one challenge and how it is faced in 2 European regions. Keep following us for more solutions.